welcome back to Happy Apple Core Homestead. We are in just about the middle of November and I thought I would take you out to the garden and show you what my November garden looks like. I have about half the garden put to bed and another half that still needs quite a bit of work. This will be a relatively short video since there's not a ton growing in there, but I know a lot of you like to see the comparisons month to month and the progress that I make from each month to the next. So make sure you check out the October garden tour video so you'll see actually how much work has been accomplished in just a few short weeks. Let's head on out. Let's start in the greenhouse. I do believe that this greenhouse is going to be taken down and turned into a tool shed. We grew tomatoes in here this year and they didn't do super great. It's just too hot. And our tomatoes outside did wonderfully. So yeah, not sure what's going to happen with this, but I'm probably going to stop growing in here. I really do have plenty of space to be growing things elsewhere. Now let's enter the main garden. I'll show you what's going on in here. I'll start over here like we usually do. I still have this giant mallow that I need to uproot from this raspberry plant. And it does have rust, but the flowers are still pretty. Rosemary's looking beautiful, nice and thick and lush. That is a raspberry, or sorry, not a raspberry, a blueberry, and it has beautiful fall colors. The irrigation has been, like all of the modules have been removed for the winter. They don't do well if they freeze, and these have all been capped off, and we use an air compressor to blow out all of the water from the lines so that they do not freeze and burst open during the winter. Other than that, there's not really anything else that needs to be done to maintain the irrigation in the wintertime. You can still leave the lines laying out on the soil and there's no problem with that. Just make sure that they're not buried under mulch or dirt or anything. And here are my Catawba grapes, and I tasted them the other day and they were still pretty sour, and you can see probably that not all of them are ripe, but then some of them are and look pretty good. So I think I will come out here and harvest some. Maybe I will make a Catawba wine for you guys. If you're interested in another wine series, let me know down in the comments. I am still going to do a raspberry wine for you, but I have to finish putting up the food that I harvested this year before I can get to any more specialty projects. And this bed has been nice and cleared out. Over there, this one is where I planted my garlic. That I think was the last video that I posted for you guys. I just did that recently. And all of this is nice and clear, all weeded. And here's the raspberry plant, which actually still has some raspberries on it. Okay, over here is where my rhubarb lives, and of course it's all dormant for the year, but it will come back. These pots will be removed before the end of the year. They're just super heavy and it's not a high priority, but I do need to get them out because as these weeds and grasses, that's a great place for rodents to live, and I would just prefer that they choose some other spot on my 5 acres of property than in here to build their nests. I don't like to disturb their nests when I see them, and I feel bad if I have to do that, so I'm just going to try to prevent making it a hospitable place for them. This is my yarrow, and I've cut it down like I usually always do, and it'll just come right back. Here's those giant Colombian Blackberries, I gave them an extremely hard prune in preparation of digging them up and finding a new home for them. They cannot stay here for another year. Okay, this whole side of the garden has been weeded, and I have to make a decision if I want to mulch it and put a bunch of leaves down or not. It's not necessary. Even where the garlic is planted, it doesn't have to be mulched. It's totally up to you if you want to mulch your garden. The garlic does fine even without it. Okay, here is where the lemon balm was. I cut that down. It will come back next year. This is where the comfrey was, and it will also come right back, no problem. Here's my raspberries and also some fruit, which I've been leaving for the critters. This is my strawberry bed, which has some green fruit on it. And as soon as all of the leaves turn brown, I'll come in and clear them all out. More raspberries, and I did get this bed done, but those last like 4 beds, I still have a lot of work to do on those. Here's some more rhubarb working its way toward dormancy. This is where the bergamot was, and I just cut it down to the soil level, and it will also come back next year. This is where the chamomile was, and I pulled all those plants, but it went to seed, so it will definitely come back. And it looks like we'll have some spider babies too. I still need to also get into, I took care of those troughs on that side of the garden, but all of these I still have to weed. And they're really tough ones too. There's like the dandelions. They're hard to get the roots all the way out, so they're always coming back. But this one, look how pretty this blueberry is. And that's the case all the way down. Lots of weeds and pretty fall colors. You can see that the vole was like, hey man, where's all my snacks? Took all of his snacks away. This is where the peppers were. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time over here because really everything is just weeds. I thought you might like to see some of the progress that was made though in the few weeks since I posted the October garden tour. So just everything has been pulled. I do have some oregano and some thyme still left in these beds, but other than that, it's just all weeds. I'll give you a quick overview. Thanks for walking through my fall garden with me. Let me know down in the comments what your garden is looking like right now. Have you got your garlic planted yet? Are you growing anything else in your gardens over the winter time? In the Pacific Northwest, there are ways you can grow year-round. I just don't because it takes me months after the harvest to get everything put up. Most of you know I prayed for 2 years of jalapenos and potatoes, and God blessed me with that. And so I just finished all of the jalapenos. I did jalapeno jelly and also pickled jalapenos this year, and I lost track of how many jars I put up of those. And then potatoes, I have done, how many have I done? Let me count in my head really quick. I've done 42 quarts of potatoes so far, and I have about 13 or 14 times that much left to do. And then I also have all of my tomatoes, which I froze. while I was processing other things that were more urgent in the garden, such as the herbs and the cucumbers and things like that. I do also still have all of my pumpkins to do, and I haven't decided if I'm just going to bake and puree them or if I'm going to can them. When you can your pumpkins, you gotta can them in like cubes, so you don't can them already pureed, and each batch is 90 minutes. So it's just a lot of a time investment, and baking it and pureeing it and freezing it is just so much faster. But also my freezer's getting kind of full. So anyways, I have lots of things that I'm working on throughout the fall and the winter, and of course we have the holidays coming up. With that said, this is probably going to be the last garden tour of the year, because the December garden is, you know, usually icy and snowy and not as interesting. But if something interesting does happen out there, I will make sure to bring it to you. Other than that, you're going to see lots of other videos from me. We're going to talk about some more food preservation, and we're also going to get into some more of the medicinals and herbs, which I like to catch up on in the wintertime. I will let you go for now. I have an entire crate of potatoes that's behind you where you can't see it, and they're looking at me like, you better do something with me before I rot. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my next batch of potatoes, and I will be seeing you guys soon. Bye!